Hey everyone, so this video is based on energy sources, heart rate, and more specifically the fat burning zone. So what it gets associated with is something that I'm guilty of in the past, is thinking that you're working towards getting skinny. You're thinking about like reducing your waist size, reducing your belly size, body recomposition, all of that fun stuff. That's what we associate fat burning with, and that's what a lot of the health and fitness industry markets on, like big organizations, fat burning zone. And when you put out fat burning zone in some advert, people are going to be triggered by it and be like, oh, I need that, I need help towards losing weight, when in all actually fat burning zone represents what it actually is. The hint's in the name. So you might have seen it around the gym, or you might have heard your PT talk about it, or a fitness guru talk about it, or rag on about it. Fat burning zone represents your heart rate working between 65% and 75% of your heart rate. So, reason for that is when you're working in that range of your heart rate, your body will metabolize fat a lot faster as a fuel source. So that's where you got to associate fat burning zone as a fuel source that you're going to be tapping into when your heart rate matches that. So when you hear people say, oh no, the fat burning zone isn't a thing, isn't going to help you lose weight, yeah, they're right. You're not going to guarantee losing weight from it. But they're wrong in the fact that you're actually going to tap into fat when you're in that zone. That's your fuel source. So general living. If I was to take away my exercise, if I was to just be like a couch potato, get my heart rate up a little bit by walking around, I could have the worst diet, I'll be in the fat burning zone. But if I've got the worst diet in the world, I'm not exercising, my metabolism is going slow, even when I'm in the fat burning zone, I'm going to be gaining weight, because my metabolism is what dictates everything else when it comes to reducing my weight, when it comes to reducing my waist size and recomposition and all that stuff. So when it comes to the fat burning zone, you got to have all that other stuff in check if you want to work towards those goals of reducing your waistline and that. When you go above 75% intensity, this is where it changes. This is where you see on the machine 75%, you're into more of an anaerobic interval type of work, more like higher intensity. So what happens there is fat becomes too slow to metabolize, and then carbohydrates metabolize in your body for an energy source. So that's why you start using carbs. That's why you hear about footballers who are on a high carb diet, because they use that as a fuel source. And when footballers retire, when they stick to their diet that they're having, they usually don't keep up with their training. That's why you see like legendary football players put on weight, because they're still in a high carb diet and they're not getting their metabolism to spike up like they are when they got that high intensity, because they're able to burn that a lot faster. So you could be out of the fat burning zone and a lot higher, and you can burn more calories than when you are in the fat burning zone. So what to take out of this is to, when you go about exercise, when you go about the fat burning zone, when people rag on it or people praise it, just remember it is in the name. It is the fuel source that you're tapping into when you go to exercise. The good thing about it, fat burning zone, you can sustain training in the fat burning zone, but just know that everything else becomes a lot slower when it comes to reducing your waistline and all that. And if you don't have your metabolism in check, and if you don't have your general living in check and like diet in check, you'll still put on weight. Whereas if you got your diet in check and all of that stuff, you'll start to lose weight. It'll just be at a slower rate. You'll still be using fat as an energy source. So you can lose weight in any zones, in the fat burning zone, above the fat burning zone, even at the peak zone. You can lose weight if you're getting the right fuel sources, if you're looking after yourself, if you're resting, if you're keeping quite active, if you're like just general moving and getting that metabolism to come up. So the big thing to take away from this is fat burning zone, it is what it is. It is the fuel source. It doesn't represent reducing your belly fat and all that, where a lot of people are guilty of associating with that. Just remember, fat's the energy source, carbs an energy source, protein's an energy source. It just represents the breakdown of what we tap into when we go to work out. So yes, you can lose weight in that zone, but there's other things in check. So yeah, I find that it's a good tool to have, the heart rate. I more so use it for recovery because I'm big on getting people to train their heart rate for recovery. Um, I don't really push people to the fat burning zone. I push them a little bit further. I try to encourage people to have more like a nutritional check when it comes to everything else, because the way you perform is based on what you put in your mouth and how much rest you get and all the smart training things you do. But yeah, hopefully this helps people understand the fat burning zone itself. I know it gets a lot of heat and it also gets a lot of praise, but it's that fine blurred line of understanding, hey, this is what it actually is. It's an energy source, and yes, that's what we tap into when we get in those zones. And above that, we tap more into carbohydrates. Hopefully that was helpful, but yeah, cool.